Welcome to Alpha Recap. Thanks for joining us after the close. We're breaking down today's tape, what moved markets, and what to watch next. As always, if you have questions, you can reach us at stockalpha.ai.
Hey everyone, great to be here. Big day, lots to unpack.
So, what really stands out here is the split personality of the market today.
Totally. The headline indexes were down, but underneath there was real dispersion between AI-led tech and consumer names.
And the numbers tell that story. The S&P 500 closed down about 0.4%. The Nasdaq 100 finished down about 0.2%, and the Russell 2000 slid about 0.5%.
Right. And the other thing is, those are modest moves, but they masked some huge single stock action.
Exactly. The big headline was Nike, which plunged roughly 29% after its earnings commentary and guidance missed expectations.
Yeah, that tracks.
That single-day drop in such a large company was a real drag on consumer discretionary indexes and helped push the broader S&P into the red.
Ouch, that's huge.
Not a great day for retail and apparel. Analysts flagged inventory questions and softer demand trends, which made investors reevaluate discretionary exposure.
Wow, big move.
On the flip side, AI and big cap tech names helped absorb selling pressure. Palantir posted its fastest revenue growth ever, and AMD reported a strong first quarter with continued AI demand supporting server and chip customers.
Talk about contrast. One name tanks, others sprint ahead.
I mean, when you step back and look at this, trading desks repeatedly called out Broadcom, Google, and Caterpillar as leaders in the AI charge, and that flow helped keep the tech-heavy indices from falling further.
That AI theme is still carrying a lot of market weight.
Right, and to add to that, Palantir's results were constructive for big data and defense-oriented software names because analysts are asking whether this growth signals durable enterprise AI adoption.
Honestly, I was a bit surprised by this one.
There were other pockets of strength too. Paramount surprised with a revenue beat and streaming momentum, and crypto-linked names got a lift as the crypto rally accelerated, helping some fintech plays on the margin.
Interesting rotation.
Let's step back and summarize the three big forces that shape today: company-specific shocks, earnings in the AI narrative, and macro or Fed positioning.
So, company-specific shocks, Nike led the downside, and you could see that single stock move distort sector performance.
Yep. Then earnings and AI narratives. Strong beats from Palantir and AMD reinforced AI monetization and infrastructure demand, which supported chipmakers and software platform names tied to data center builds.
Right. And the other thing is, corporate commentary started to look like real-time data on margins and pricing power, which feeds into how investors think about inflation and earnings later in the year.
Finally, macro and Fed positioning kept traders cautious. With CPI and jobs prints on the horizon, people didn't want to be overly aggressive heading into big data releases and Fed comments.
So positioning mattered as much as headlines.
Let's go sector by sector briefly. Technology and semiconductors held up better, led by AMD and other chip names tied to AI. Information technology was relatively resilient.
Communication services had some bright spots too. Paramount's beat helps, and there was still conversation about platform governance after Reuters reporting around social media players.
Consumer discretionary was the weakest link because of Nike's move. Industrials and transportation were mixed with new logistics pressure as Amazon expanded parcel handling, which again raises questions for FedEx and other carriers.
Utilities and renewables drew selective interest from defensive flows, especially companies tied to grid modernization and long-term electrification themes.
Energy and materials were mixed, and financials were quiet overall, though Berkshire shares ticked higher on the day.
And crypto-linked enthusiasm added some micro pockets of strength, which is worth watching if that tape keeps running.
Technically, the market looked range-bound. QQQ's smaller decline versus the S&P highlighted concentration among a handful of mega-cap AI names, while small caps lagged. The Russell saw that 0.5% drop we mentioned.
Yeah, that tracks.
Momentum indicators cooled from recent highs, and volatility was elevated enough to make traders size positions cautiously. In a market like this, headline flows and earning surprises drive dispersion more than a broad macro trend.
Which means stock pickers were probably happy, but index players less so.
Looking ahead, there are a few clear things to watch. Any surprise CPI, PPI, or jobs data, Fed speak from FOMC officials, upcoming earnings from other AI suppliers and retail bellwethers, and whether small caps can stabilize.
Right. And observers will be asking whether the AI revenue story broadens beyond a handful of names, or whether consumer weakness spreads to other large retailers.
So what are our quick takeaways from today?
First, headline indices mask dispersion. Big declines in consumer names were offset by AI and chip strength.
Second, Nike's drop was a concentrated disappointment. It materially impacted sector performance and sentiment around discretionary spending.
Third, AI-related earnings continued to support a handful of mega-cap tech and semiconductor names, which kept losses contained.
Fourth, positioning ahead of macro data kept the tape cautious. Traders didn't press the upside into key labor and price prints.
And finally, breadth remained narrow. So any broad risk-on move will probably need wider participation beyond AI leaders.
Quick reminder, this episode is for informational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice. Analysts note market action and data. This is not a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold any security.
If you want a short recap, AI strength offset consumer pain. Nike was the standout negative, and traders stayed cautious ahead of macro prints.
Great summary. If you have questions about anything we covered today, head to stockalpha.ai where you can ask us directly and we'll answer live. For more market analysis and insights, visit stockalpha.ai.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back after the next close with more market color. Bye for now.